Welcome, I'm Steph Ray and I help coaches scale to $100,000 months. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to pick the right business model for your coaching business based on what you actually prefer and like versus just what's trending right now on Instagram. There is no one size fits all when it comes to growing your coaching business. And I think that when we are flooded with so much information about everyone's different models, sometimes we can just think, oh, that looks easy, or that looks good, or that looks great, but not actually know which one's going to suit us, our skills, our talents, and our lifestyle goals. And so I want to help you break that down today, because the wrong model is going to make you hate your business and the right one is going to make it so easy for you to scale in a really effortless way. I have created an incredible downloadable resource for you today, and it shows all of the different types of business models and how it matches each type of personality. And so if you want a copy of that worksheet and you want to follow along with me today, then click the download link in the description. Inside our program Success School, we help our clients pick models that suit them and their lifestyle goals, not just what looks good on paper. And so when Becca came to us, she was doing a lot of group coaching, but she was hating it. Every single day she didn't want to show up. She found it really hard to scale and sell it. She was nervous, but she decided to shift to a low ticket model. And then since then, in the last 6 months, she scaled her business up from $0, literally from the ground up, all the way up to $67,000 last month. She's also cut her hours down and she loves her business now. Now, that's not to say that low ticket is the option for you. Again, we're going to go through that in this video, but it's about finding the one that feels good for you to scale in your own world. So there's 5 main ways to grow to $100,000 months and beyond, and each of them has their pros and cons. You need to make sure you're picking based on how you want to spend your time, how involved you want to be with your clients, what kind of selling and marketing you enjoy or don't enjoy, and your risk tolerance as well as your income preference. So for example, I might want to make millions and millions of dollars, but you might be happy making $30,000 a month. So every single person should pick a business model that's based on their own goals and what they're actually really good at. So now I'm going to go through the 5 different models that are simplified for personality fit. So model number 1 is the no touch. So this is the digital course, the AKA low ticket model that you're seeing all over Instagram right now. The pros of this model is, of course, that it's incredibly scalable, okay? So you can sell as many as you want all the time. There's no sales calls and there's no client delivery. So you don't have to show up and teach anything. It's literally already pre-recorded and anybody can go and download this at any time. You can make sales in your sleep. That's kind of the key selling point of this sort of offer. But I will be honest when I say that there are cons to this type of business as well. You will have high ads costs. There's no way of doing this without running ads unless you have a huge social media presence already. When I say huge, I mean huge. You need to have a big social media presence. So it's going to need high ad cost, and it does require volume. So you can't just sell 10 a month at $47 and be happy. Obviously, you're going to need to sell at least 100 a month to be able to get where you want to be. And there's a low client value. So an average order value for someone on a digital course is going to be somewhere between $100 and $250, which is great, but it's also not a lot. And so you are going to have to sell a lot more of them. So who is model 1, the no touch, low ticket digital course business best for? Well, it's awesome for people who love marketing. They love content creation. They really enjoy funnels. They kind of geek out when it comes to ads and automation. You'd rather sit behind a laptop and scale marketing and traffic than actually coach people live. Now, if that's you and you just want to be able to sit there and create Instagram content, then this model will be perfect for you. And Becca, who I referenced at the beginning of this video, she went from $0 to $67,000 months on a $49 digital product in 6 months. But she loves the back end and optimizing and running ads and doing content creation. She loves that side of things. And so it suits her to the ground. Now we have model 2, which is a low touch membership or group with light support. The benefit of a low touch membership style thing is that it's really scalable. Again, you can have lots of people in it because there's minimal live delivery. But the cons are that you will have higher churn. So your average client retention rate is going to be pretty low and it's going to be very marketing heavy, which is something that people don't think about because again, because the average order value is lower, you are going to require a higher volume of clients through the door. So who is this best for? Well, this is probably best for coaches who love building community. They like to teach, but not necessarily to coach. And they don't want to be glued to Zoom every single day. You're okay with doing volume-based coaching rather than deep pulling things apart and getting into the nitty-gritty with somebody. This is awesome for coaches who have really big impact goals. So when I say impact goals, I mean like you want to impact hundreds of thousands of people to change their lives. And an example of this in Success School is Rach and Tom. So they're business coaches that specialize in the network marketing industry. And they scaled up from $10,000 a month to $50,000 a month on a $997 product, which is like a light group coaching product with really light support, okay? So this definitely works. But to be really clear, Rach and Tom post 3 times a day on their social media. They run masterclasses, they do presentations, and they run workshops. And so they have a huge volume of people coming through the door really regularly. Again, you're gonna have to be pretty good at marketing to make something like this work. Model 3 is your mid-touch. So this is kind of like your hybrid program, maybe a course with some live support, maybe a little bit of one-to-one involved as well. Something like these hybrid programs or these mid-touch programs programs are really good for retention because they get a little bit of immunity, they get a little bit more access to you, and so they love being part of what you've created. It is usually a little higher priced, again, because you can't have as much volume through because there are those personalized touch points that happen throughout, which means that you do have fewer clients, which from a delivery standpoint is pretty awesome. The tricky thing with mid-touch is you do actually still require quite a high volume. So you're not going to need as much volume as, say, Becca at a low ticket or Rach and Tom at a mid ticket, but you are still going to require to have, quite a lot of people coming through the door pretty regularly because, again, it's not like one-to-one where you're charging massively high ticket. You're kind of if you're in the mid-touch space, you're charging mid-ticket as well. And so this might be a program that sits around the $1,500 to $3,000 mark, and that's kind of what we'd be looking at for mid-touch. If you want to run a mid-touch offer, so a hybrid, maybe it's a little bit of group coaching, a little bit of one-to-one, check-in accountability, that sort of thing here and there, you're going to need a real great structure for guiding clients through that process and making sure they can actually get results. And the second thing you're going to need is a really good dialed-in sales process because you're selling something that's a little bit high ticket, which means you're going to get more objections and they're going to have more questions. And so you're going to have to make sure that every single part of your sales process, from the minute they become a lead all the way through to even 30 days after they've signed up, is really beautifully curated to make sure they feel very safe and have all the information they need to be able to make a buying decision. Someone who runs a mid-touch program in Success School is Angela. She's a nutrition coach and she signed up and she was making $12,000 a month. Now she makes $60,000 a month on repeat on a $1,500 product, and she was able to do that in just 6 months. So mid-touch also works. And I guess what I'm trying to show you guys is that all of these types of coaching businesses make great money. They're just different and for different types of people. Model number 4 is your high touch. So this is be your one-to-one or very, very, very small group coaching. The best thing about this is it's actually, even though it's more expensive, it's actually easier to sell because most people want high touch. Most people want to have one-to-one with you. It's also very easy to get a high success rate because when you are coaching clients one-to-one, you have the opportunity to really drag them to the finish line. You have the opportunity to make sure they're hitting all the milestones and be really in it with them. The other benefit of a high touch program like a one-to-one or a small group coaching is that it's got a high success rate. So when you have a high success rate, it's the other thing that's awesome about this one-to-one, high touch, or really, really small group coaching programs is that they have a very high success rate because even if somebody starts to hide, you can kind of bring them back in. If they're not seeing results, you can jump in and help them get the results. So that means that most clients finish the program and most clients will get results in that program or that offer, which means that they're more likely to refer their friends. And so you have high referrals. The benefit for that is that you get to do a little bit less marketing because you have a huge amount of referrals coming through all the time. And actually you have really limited space because you can't take on endless one-to-ones, right? And so you have the supply versus demand principle that comes into place, which says that if there's more demand than there is supply, you get to keep increasing your prices, which is why you'll see business coaches charging things like $30,000 or $60,000 for one-to-one, is because so many people want it that there's actually a really limited amount of spots for it. The negatives of one-to-one or this high touch coaching is of course that it's very time heavy. So you will be the kind of coach that's having to be spending a lot of time on Zoom, really coaching people through it. When you're charging high ticket, there usually is a high level of support, which means you often have to be online a lot and it's really hard to scale. So there is typically a capacity limit that you're going to hit. But this is really good for coaches who love deep transformational work. You want to be on calls with people, you want high ticket clients, you like charging high ticket prices, you're really good on sales calls and you love to get your clients big results, then this is a really good starting point. And I'd highly recommend starting here before going into group coaching at the very least. One of our clients in Success School, Rebecca, is an empowerment coach and she charges anywhere from $30,000 for her one-to-one. One of our clients, Rebecca, runs this model inside Success School and she went from $30,000 a month to $85,000 a month in 9 months simply from focusing all in on becoming the very, very best at this. And then model number 5 is consulting done for you profit share kind of model. Okay, so what this looks like is that maybe you're really, really good at what you do and you can jump into someone's business and you can consult for a period of time and get their sales team up and running or get their marketing team up and running. You can use the knowledge that you have to help that bigger business earn more cash flow and more sales. This is usually a lot of work. So there's a lot of work that goes into this, but there's an amazing amount of upside that can happen when you do this for the right business. Because if you do this for the right business and you get to make them a lot of money and they see the value in working with you, you can start to ask for revenue shares and profit shares. Now, this is for somebody who is incredibly good at being this is somebody who's a real expert at what they do. Like, you know it inside out. You know that you could jump into someone's business and you could stand up a team and you could make it happen. And just with their payment and their resources, you could 100% roll this out across any industry, no matter what. If you're a strategist, if you're an operator, if you're a specialist, if you prefer fewer clients and deeper partnerships and don't mind a bit of a slower ramp up in exchange for long-term high value relationships, then this can work. So we had Lucy in our program. She was a marketing consultant. She went from doing $0 to closing $250,000 deals in 3 months. So these deal volumes are much, much bigger. So you're going to be working closely, but with bigger companies. Okay. So whereas the other stuff has been for more business to individual, this is more business to company. So how do you choose? Because obviously all of these models work. Ask yourself these questions. Do I want to coach? AKA, do I want to get in there and ask them questions and really help them uncover what their truth is? Or do I want to teach? AKA, present my information and have other people take what they need from it. Do I prefer building systems or just delivering results? Can I manage a team or do I want to keep it lean? Am I better at marketing, selling, or delivering? If you match your answer to the model that makes the most sense for you, and don't pick a model that just looks sexy online or that's trending right now, pick one that's really sustainable for you. Again, in this document, I've given you a little cheat sheet where I'm helping you pick the right model for your personality type. If you want access to the cheat sheet, just click the link below in the description and go ahead and grab this downloadable. Now, if you want help picking the right business model and to build some systems around it so that you can finally scale to $100,000 months, I would love to help you do that. The next step is for you to book a scale session below where we can show you exactly what the pathway looks like for you to get there. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.